These 4 flannels started as Goodwill finds. Let me show you how they became Nashville ready.
Hi, my name is Jenny. Welcome to Second Chance Studio with Goodwill of Greater Milwaukee and Chicago. This is my first video I'm uploading and I am so excited about it. I cannot wait to show you guys what I'm about to make today. I do upcycled flannels and t-shirts and I kind of put them together and create really fun and funky designs. I had a bride reach out to me and ask me to make her a flannel for her Nashville Bachelorette party. So I had already made that flannel for her, but today my mission is to make flannels for her 3 best friends that are taking her to Nashville for her Bachelorette party. When you thrift, it's hard to find matching of anything because it's mostly one of a kind. So we're not looking for the same types of flannels, we're just looking for flannels that complement each other. So this is the one I've made for the bride. I'll show you that first and then we'll go to Goodwill. So this is the flannel I made for her. She wanted black and white. I did actually thrift this t-shirt and I thrifted this both from Goodwill. The t-shirts that we're gonna have to use for the Bachelorette friends are not going to be able to be thrifted because the chances of us finding 3 of one design are a long shot. So what we're going to do is we're going to thrift the t-shirts, the blank t-shirts, and then the 3 flannels for them. And then I'm going to show you guys how you can easily create designs and purchase designs and iron them on yourself so that they all match and they're all cohesive. A lot of people really like the thrifted flannel idea. Most flannels that I thrift are very, worn in and comfortable and soft, and a lot of people really like that. A lot of people like that you're saving the environment by buying something that's already used. And honestly, I pick out really good ones that are good brands and I never have an issue finding one. As long as they look nice, they can be washed, they can be cleaned, and I usually have a lot of good luck at Goodwill. I leave there with more than I need every single time. So with that said, let's go to Goodwill and let's find some flannels for these bridesmaids.
Have made it to Goodwill. I am grabbing a cart and I am going to beeline it straight to the back wall, which is the wall of men's flannels. It makes me very excited when I see it. I always have luck here. I'm looking for flannels that will go together, not necessarily be a perfect match, but complement one another. I'm going for a white t-shirt with black design, so I've laid out these. There's one style I try to stay away from, and it's this kind. It's just hard to sew on all those pleats. So I've ended up with these, and I'm not done looking, but these are the ones I like so far. If you have a beach bachelorette party, this is an option for you. So you don't have to do flannels. You can do something like this with a more light and airy feel to wear over a swimsuit. So that's just another idea. But for this, since it's Nashville, we're sticking with flannels. I am checking out. I think I've ended up with 4 flannels, and then I took one of those beachy shirts because I figured I might make something for myself since I am headed on vacation soon. Usually when checking out, the cashier will ask if you'd like to round up for Goodwill's mission programs, and I always say yes to this. And it looks like my total is going to be $24, which is amazing. I got my goodies and I am headed home to get started. Once I'm home, I grab all my goodies, take all the tags off, and then I wash everything before I get started on creating. So in the wash they go. And once that is done, in the dryer they go. And while these are drying, we are going to work on figuring out what design we want to put on these shirts. So you're probably thinking to yourself, how am I going to iron on a design when I don't have a Cricut to do it myself? Well, I am here to show you that there are other ways, and it's actually very simple. I start by going onto Etsy, and on Etsy there are creators who create graphic designs and they sell them for a couple dollars. So what you're going to do, you're going to go to the search bar and type in whatever your theme is or whatever you're looking for, and you're going to search for SVGs. And basically this is a file that will be an instant download, and it's super easy. You download it right to your computer. And in this case, I looked up Nashville Bachelorette Party SVG and I saw a ton of them. So I'm selecting the one that I want, and then I am going to go to jiffyshirts.com. And once you are at Jiffy Shirts website, you're going to go to the top bar where it says transfers. And right here, you're just going to upload from your device. So that file that you downloaded, you're just going to upload into here. And then you're going to kind of estimate what size you're going to need. So you're going to need to get your ruler and measure out the shirt that you're doing this on to make sure that your size makes sense. Once you upload it, it will show you a preview of what it will look like. Make sure it all looks good. And then again, double check your sizes. They do give you suggestions. But once you get your size down, you just add to cart, and it is as simple as that. Jiffy is really great about shipping within a day or two, so I never have to wait too long for these transfers to arrive. And once they arrive, they are ready to go. While we're waiting for the transfers to arrive, I'll go over all the supplies you'll need to complete the rest of the project. First is an iron. I have this Cricut iron. I've had it forever. I love it, but a simple house iron would work just fine. Then I have this ironing mat. It's basically to protect the surface that you're ironing on. A towel would also work, so you can fold up a towel to protect whatever surface you're working on. And then I have a pair of fabric scissors, and then this slicing tool I use to get clean lines when I'm slicing up the t-shirt to put on the flannel. And then I have this roll of adhesive webbing that I will use to secure the t-shirt onto the back of the flannel before I sew. And then a simple piece of parchment paper, and I'll explain that later. And then this green mat I have everything laying on is going to help me cut the t-shirts. And then the last two items are my ruler, my Home Depot ruler, and then my sewing machine. This one has a ton of cool stitches to choose from. I usually use one because I haven't ventured out to try many, but you can use a single line stitch. It doesn't need to be fancy, just you do need a sewing machine. Here are the transfers. They've arrived. So you unroll them, you cut each of them out individually, and then I have my white t-shirts that I washed, and they're ready to go and ready to be ironed on. The transfers will come with instructions on how hot your iron should be and then how long you need to press each one of them for. In this case, I am using my iron at 310 degrees, and then I am pressing for 15 seconds. And then once I'm done with that first go through, I will peel off the top layer and then press again for 15 seconds using my parchment paper to protect the design. Your next step is to cut the t-shirt into a square. I typically cut 1.5 inches to 1 inch above, below, and on either side of the design. So I have 1.5 inches to 1 inch of white space around the design so that there's enough room to have a stitch. But it's up to you. It depends on what size flannel you're using. You can eyeball it. There's really no wrong way and no wrong size. Once your squares are cut, it is now time to secure them to the back of the flannel before we sew them. So I usually start by measuring from the neck down, and I start about 6 to 7 inches down. So from the neckline down, once I get to 7 inches is where I'll lay it. And then I measure it to make sure it's centered. So I make sure that there is the same space on either side and then all along the top of the design. Once I feel good about the placement of my t-shirt and it's good and centered, I'm grabbing that roll of adhesive webbing and I'm placing it underneath the t-shirt to secure to the flannel. I do this so that we have a nice flat surface, and once you're sewing, the fabric isn't moving all around. You could use pins, but I just find this makes it really clean. The fabric doesn't move at all, and it makes my life so easy. Again, you can use any kind of iron to do this. My iron actually ended up breaking while making this video, so I had to pull out my little tiny Cricut iron, but any iron would work. Once you get that t-shirt secured onto the flannel, it is now time to sew. Again, I am using a stitch that's a little bit fancier. You don't need that. It could be a straight line and it would look perfectly fine. Also, this doesn't have to look perfect. This whole piece has a lot of character, and so if it's not perfect, that is totally fine. It's not anything to stress about. I am not an advanced sewer. This is something that I taught myself how to do about a year ago, and I've only tried 2 stitches. So this is beginner level stuff. You just literally need to have a sewing machine and know how to work it. At this point, I'm just sewing the 4 sides of this square t-shirt. At each corner, I'm just rotating to go the next direction, and it truly is really simple. Our last step is just cutting the excess thread, and we are done. Thank you for watching. If you create your own flannel with thrifted items, be sure to tag Goodwill. We would love to see them. And come back for more Second Chance Studio transformations.